While the world fixates on futuristic cities and billion-dollar mega-projects, a quieter empire is rising beneath the surface of Saudi Arabia, and at the heart of it sits one man, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. To the public, he is the face of Vision 2030, modern, bold, reformist. But behind the PR gloss is a strategist who has turned Riyadh into a financial labyrinth of offshore vaults, AI firms, black-budget sovereign deals, and private security syndicates. A shadow economy worth hundreds of billions, controlled not by ministries, but by him. This is the story of how MBS moved the kingdom's wealth off-grid and used it to reshape power in the Gulf, one invisible transaction at a time. The face of vision, the mind of a kingmaker. Mohammed bin Salman was never meant to be the icon of modern Saudi Arabia. But when his father, King Salman, rose to power in 2015, MBS leapfrogged over cousins, ministers, and traditional hierarchies. Young, assertive, calculated. Within 3 years, he was not just crown prince, he was the de facto ruler. Publicly, MBS announced a new era, Vision 2030, a plan to diversify Saudi Arabia's economy away from oil. Neom, the line, Qiddiya, a wave of futuristic dreams lit up YouTube and Instagram feeds worldwide. But beneath the spectacle, a second kingdom was being built, one away from public scrutiny. And MBS was the architect. He understood one thing early. Infrastructure impresses the world, but networks secure the throne. Behind every skyscraper and launch event, there were quiet appointments of loyalists, encrypted communication hubs, and the slow, methodical redirection of wealth. Early in his rise, MBS began replacing key economic positions with trusted allies. The ministries became shells. Real decisions flowed through informal advisory councils, composed not of bureaucrats, but financiers, tech futurists, and geopolitical tacticians handpicked by the prince. One of his earliest moves was creating vision realization programs, but only insiders understood their dual purpose. On the surface, they were designed to hit Vision 2030 goals. Behind the scenes, they served as funnels, vehicles for rerouting contracts, channeling private capital into sovereign-backed entities, and establishing quasi-legal zones where economic rules could be bent at will. At the same time, MBS expanded his influence into media. He bought stakes in international outlets, reshaped local newsrooms, and instituted a digital censorship regime. This wasn't about suppressing dissent, it was about narrative control. Every story, every headline, every tweet had to orbit around the vision of a bold reformer. Even foreign policy moves were tied to economic strategy. The blockade on Qatar, it wasn't just about politics, it was a message to every Gulf investor. There is one center of gravity now, and it's Riyadh. In parallel, MBS cultivated ties with elite investors in Silicon Valley, China, and London. He didn't just want their money, he wanted access. Technology, data, influence. These relationships were secured through a mix of charm, intimidation, and multi-billion-dollar incentives routed through sovereign shells. By 2019, the transformation was undeniable. On the surface, Saudi Arabia was buzzing with construction cranes and PR campaigns. But in the shadows, MBS had established something far more resilient, a parallel kingdom powered by absolute control, engineered through economic complexity, and guarded by algorithms, loyalty, and fear. The night of the Ritz. November 2017. The Ritz-Carlton Riyadh was turned into a velvet fortress overnight. Limousines arrived without explanation. Phones were confiscated. Some of Saudi Arabia's most powerful men entered and disappeared from public view. The official story was swift, an anti-corruption purge, a bold cleanup. But those inside the palatial detention center knew the truth. It was a calculated power seizure disguised as reform. Over 300 of the kingdom's richest and most influential figures were summoned. Princes, former ministers, global tycoons. They were shown dossiers, evidence, accusations, some real, some fabricated. The message was singular: surrender your wealth or lose everything. It wasn't about justice, it was about leverage. MBS didn't just extract billions, he harvested control. Detainees were pressured into signing over shares of corporations, bank accounts, and private assets. But the real prize was invisible: networks. MBS gained access to confidential foreign accounts, partnership deals, and corporate intelligence. Within weeks, an estimated $100 billion in assets had shifted hands. But where did the money go? Sources suggest that much of it was funneled into newly created sovereign vehicles outside traditional state oversight. These black budget entities, many headquartered in offshore havens, were directly linked to MBS's private financial matrix. Some were used to acquire AI firms, others to bankroll cyber intelligence capabilities. A few vanished completely. The Ritz operation also served another purpose, a psychological reset. No one, not even royals, was untouchable. It was a chilling lesson for investors, ministers, and foreign allies. Dissent is not just punished, it is liquidated. In the aftermath, MBS emerged not just as the crown prince, but as the undisputed central bank of Saudi power. Every major transaction, alliance, and investment flowed through his inner circle. From that point on, the kingdom was no longer run by committees, it was run by directives, and every directive began with one man. Black budget sovereigns. At the center of MBS's long game lies a structure few outside the inner circle understand, the sovereign shadow grid. While the Public Investment Fund, PIF, is the official behemoth, publicly managed, stately in its PR, beneath it lies a labyrinth of black budget vehicles designed to move capital invisibly, legally, and instantly. These are not traditional state-owned enterprises. They are hybrids. Sovereign in origin, private in behavior, opaque by design, shell entities registered in Luxembourg, the Cayman Islands, and even Delaware, silent partnerships with global venture firms, trusts administered by firms with zero Saudi branding. Insiders say it began just months after the Ritz purge. Dozens of new LLCs appeared, some backed by PIF, others seeded from the quietly extracted Ritz wealth. Their purpose? To fund high-risk, high-reward investments that would never pass traditional oversight. Biotech labs working on gene editing. AI surveillance startups too controversial for Western regulators. Quantum computing prototypes built in Israeli licensed labs. One such entity, rumored to be housed inside a nondescript tower in Zurich, operates as a silent co-investor in global data infrastructure. Another, headquartered in Hong Kong, reportedly underwrites private cyber mercenary groups who offer data insurance to Gulf state allies. But these vehicles serve more than financial purposes. They're diplomatic tools. MBS offers equity slices to key regional allies, Egyptian generals, Pakistani intelligence chiefs, and even emerging African technocrats. It's not just money, it's loyalty wrapped in dividend sheets, and all roads lead back to Riyadh. The financial architecture is engineered so that no matter where a deal is inked, the controlling vote sits with MBS. It's a spiderweb of liquidity and influence, spun in silence, too decentralized to dismantle and too fast for regulators to catch. This is the true genius of MBS's economy, not in the skyscrapers or mega projects, but in the invisible flows of capital that shape reality from behind a mirrored curtain. Loyalty, surveillance, and the private state. In the new Saudi order, loyalty isn't a virtue, it's a currency, and MBS has created an economy around it. At the heart of this loyalty economy lies a surveillance grid far more sophisticated than most realize. It's not just about tapping phones or monitoring tweets, it's about engineering certainty, using data to forecast doubt, predict betrayal, and reward allegiance before it's even expressed. This system was born from imported code, but is now entirely Saudi in its logic. After acquiring cutting-edge surveillance firms from Europe and Israel, some formerly linked to military intelligence, MBS commissioned local engineers to build customized predictive systems. These were trained on Saudi behavioral data, speech patterns, religious cues, even biometric responses gathered from health platforms. The result? Loyalty scores. Each prince, executive, and influencer is assigned an algorithmic rank. Not public, not official, but real. The higher your loyalty score, the more access you're granted. 2 private jets, unlisted grants, land rights, diplomatic immunity. Meanwhile, those who fall below a certain threshold begin to feel the freeze. Delayed payments, missed invites, digital silence. MBS has weaponized data to build a caste system of compliance. Ministers who once ruled provinces are now reduced to metrics. Billionaires check their portfolios and their behavior analytics, and influencers speak not from opinion, but from calculation. Even surveillance itself is tiered. Ultra-loyalists are equipped with tracking tools, given permission to monitor rivals and report upward. It's a pyramidal scheme of oversight, where every citizen becomes a node in the state's neural web. The intelligence agencies are no longer standalone entities. They've been folded into the Vision 2030 ecosystem. Every city plan, every entertainment license, every tourism grant is a data trap, capturing who moves where, with whom, and why. This isn't Big Brother, it's big algorithm. And in this economy, truth is malleable. What matters is perception, and perception is programmable. The final game plan. While Neom dazzles the world with levitating trains and mirrored skyscrapers, MBS is executing a deeper, quieter operation, embedding Saudi power into the DNA of tomorrow's economy. He no longer thinks in oil or tourism. He thinks in code, in sensors, in sovereign ecosystems. Every futuristic project, the Line, Oxagon, Trojena, is a data collection zone, facial recognition gates, biometric infrastructure, AI-operated logistics. These aren't just urban plans, they're simulations, test beds for a programmable society. If Vision 2030 is the theater, these zones are the algorithms running the show, but the strategy expands beyond borders. MBS is placing Saudi equity into foundational global platforms, fintech, agri-bioengineering, deep-sea minerals, and orbital satellites. His vision is simple. Saudi Arabia won't just participate in the future economy, it will be wired into its operating system. Through sovereign alliances, cyber-military deals, and tech diplomacy, he is constructing what insiders call the programmable state, a future where geopolitical influence is exerted through platforms, not parliaments. And yet, behind this techno-vision lies an obsession: control. MBS understands that data is only power if it's exclusive. So while the kingdom launches public cloud partnerships, its real assets remain in privatized, state-controlled vaults, encrypted, isolated, untraceable. To outsiders, it looks like diversification. To those watching closely, it's insulation. This is not just about surviving the energy transition, it's about ruling the post-oil order, and by the time the world realizes what's been built, MBS's chessboard will be fully set, each piece loyal, each move calculated, game over, before the world even took its first turn. In the shadows of skyscrapers and the glare of headlines, a different kingdom has taken shape, one not bound by borders or ministries, but woven through contracts, algorithms, and untraceable deals. MBS didn't just modernize Saudi Arabia, he reprogrammed it. The Crown Prince's empire isn't built with bricks, it's coded into systems, distributed across offshore vaults, loyalty algorithms, and sovereign startup grids. His wealth doesn't sit in a central bank, it flows silently, reshaping power without fanfare. While the world debates oil cuts and diplomatic handshakes, MBS is 3 moves ahead. The game isn't about ruling a nation, it's about influencing an era. And the most dangerous part, he doesn't need applause, he needs silence. Silence from rivals, silence from critics, silence from a world too distracted to notice who's controlling the platform beneath their feet. Would you accept that kind of power if it came at the price of absolute transparency, absolute obedience, and no way back? Drop your thoughts in the comments. One reply will win a mystery luxury gift.